Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is the Rock and Roll Spot coming at you. Today we're going to discuss the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3, as was recently announced this past Tuesday at a press conference. We'll be going movie by movie, beginning with Captain America Civil War. Also, there will be, as I said, my thoughts, some explanations of certain things, including some looks into the various characters that will be involved in these movies. First off, a quick point made about Phase 3 is that the upcoming Ant-Man movie, which will be releasing after Avengers Age of Ultron, is no longer considered to be part of Phase 3, but rather Phase 2. Anyways, on to Captain America Civil War, which will be releasing May 6th, 2016. More than likely, this seems to be an adaptation of the Civil War story from Marvel Comics a few years back. I'm kind of on the down. I kind of see this as a downside, the fact that it's being done as a Civil War or as a Captain America sequel, because to me the scope of the story it's large enough that it should be an Avengers movie, not a Captain America sequel. Also, with this, it pretty much makes the story about Captain America and Iron Man. Whereas, if anyone could be seen as a central character to the Civil War comic book story, would have been, well, Spider-Man, who is not exactly available for the movie. Now, to me, some downsides. First, as I mentioned about Spider-Man, there are some integral characters to the story who are unavailable. Again, namely, once again, Spider-Man. Also, the Fantastic Four. Also, there are certain characters that just aren't present in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point. The New Warriors, who basically get the ball rolling, and also the Thunderbolts. Basically, the concept in general, which the Thunderbolts were initially a group of villains who turned hero to seek redemption and have at various points become government strike team made up of imprisoned villains, much like DC's Suicide Squad. Another point is the fact that every hero that operates on Earth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point in time, with movies that have been released, their identities are all known. One, because Iron Man can't stop telling people he's Iron Man. Two, Captain America is known to be, Steve Rogers is known to be Captain America. And three, Black Widow uploaded the S.H.I.E.L.D. database to the internet in the end of Captain America the Winter Soldier, making it a case of it's easily found information now. People know Natasha Romanoff is the Black Widow. Clint Barton is Hawkeye. Thor is, well, Thor, and presumably also they know that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. Now, there are upsides, and first off, as I recall, this does have the same writing team and directing team as Captain America Winter Soldier did. So that right there does give me some hope. Also, the Black Panther will be making his cinematic debut, and portrayed by Chadwick Boseman, the movie 42, which leads me to believe that it's possible that an alliance with Black Panther is how leads to Captain America getting a new shield, as the trailers for Age of Ultron show Cap's shield in pieces. Anyway, I'm going to go. When this movie releases, I'll be approaching with an open mind, and honestly, I'll be hopeful that it is a good adaptation of a story I did enjoy. Anyways, moving on to Doctor Strange, which is releasing November 14th of 2016. First off, who is Doctor Strange? For one thing, he was mentioned in Captain America: The Winter Soldier briefly by Jasper Sitwell. Quick line, basically, kind of saying, listing off people who are being watched by S.H.I.E.L.D., and Stephen Strange is amongst them. Stephen Strange is the master of the mystical arts for the Marvel Universe. He was a brilliant neurosurgeon who, due to a car accident, lost the use of his hands, and would eventually be taught in the mystical arts by the Ancient One, and eventually became the Sorcerer Supreme. Now there are screenwriters have been attached as well as a director. Also, now possible. Also, there's the fact that excuse me. Benedict Cumberbatch was on Monday said to be cast in the role. However, he officially cast in the role, at least not yet. Possible villains for the piece: Baron Mordo, who was also a student of the Ancient One with Doctor Strange. In fact, he tried to kill the Ancient One and was stopped by Strange. He's also, and afterwards, became a constant thorn in Strange's side. Another possibility is Dormammu, who is the ruler of what is known as the Dark Dimension, referred to by some as somewhat of a god tyrant. He's very manipulative, tends to act through others, and in fact has on multiple occasions acted through Baron Mordo. Dormammu could definitely make for some really awesome visuals. Mordo, him using magic would make for excellent visuals. It's also been said that this movie will be the doorway into the supernatural side of the Marvel Universe for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which is actually pleasing to hear, seeing as how in the Thor movies, what it is generally referred to in the comic books as simply being magic, what the Asgardians do, is instead written off as technology so advanced that it appears to be magic to mortal men. Alright, moving on to 2017. May 5th, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Again, that is the only title we have at the moment. Not much has been really revealed, except that same writer-director, James Gunn, same primary characters in the form of, well, the Guardians. Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Groot, Rocket Raccoon. There's some possibilities. It's been said that there will be a new team member joining in the movie. Who that could be, from what it's been stated, that it will probably be also a fellow Guardian character from the comics. Possibilities include Adam Warlock, whose Cocoon was shown twice in the summer's Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Both in the Collector's Den. Once it was sealed, and then later on it was open and empty. Adam Warlock ties in heavily to the various Infinity Gem stories. So I would not be surprised if that is who our new team member ends up being. Then we've got another possibility would be a Nova Corps member from Earth, either in the form of Richard Rider or Sam Alexander. Honestly, I would really hope it would be Richard Rider, but I understand why Marvel might go with Sam Alexander, as Alexander has more visibility currently. Another possibility is Starhawk, and really any member of the various incarnations of the Guardians. Moving on to other possibilities, Thanos will most likely be the primary villain, which will build up to the third Avengers movie, which more on that later. And we'll most likely also be introduced to yet another Infinity Stone. Moving on to Thor Ragnarok on July 28th of 2017. More than likely inspired by either Walt Simonson's stories from the 1980s, which are considered to be the definitive Thor stories, or Mike Oeming's Avengers: Assembled Time, which was also quite a good story. For those unaware of what Ragnarok is, Ragnarok is basically the end times for the Asgardians. Not for the Norse, but for the Asgardians themselves. Twilight of the Gods, so to speak. So far, the only things that are definitively known, casting-wise, are that Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston will be back, reprising their roles as Thor and Loki, respectively. And we'll just have to see how things go from the end of Thor: The Dark World into Thor Ragnarok, and then see where things go from there. Next up, on November 3rd, 2017, we have Black Panther. Now, I mentioned Black Panther earlier in conjunction with Captain America: Civil War. Black Panther is the ruler of the African nation of Wakanda, home of vibranium, which is the material that Cap's shield is made of. Hence the fact why I'm thinking maybe an alliance between Captain America and the Black Panther leads to Cap getting a new shield. Again, Chadwick Boseman will be playing Black Panther. Only villain I can really come up with as a possibility for this would be Ulysses Claw, who eventually turns himself into living sound. It's comic books, but beforehand, Claw was responsible for the assassination of the current Black Panther's father, who was also Black Panther. Basically kind of a making for you killed my father kind of thing. But that's really all that's known as release date and star. That's it. Moving on to 2018. First off, May 4th, 2018, we have Avengers: Infinity War Part 1. Yes, the third Avengers movie will actually be split into two parts, released a year apart. Part 1 comes out May 4th of 2018, Part 2 on May 3rd of 2019. The basic idea is that it's the Avengers and possibly also the Guardians of the Galaxy taking on Thanos. I would not be surprised if this movie basically involved every single Marvel Cinematic Universe character, including those who in the Netflix TV shows such as Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, as well as the characters spotlighted in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Basically, the reason I would not be surprised to see those characters is because of the sheer scope of the story. I mean, this is a huge deal. Anyways, between parts 1 and 2 of Infinity War, first we have Captain Marvel releasing on July 6th of 2018. This will focus on the Carol Danvers version of the character. She was an Air Force officer who was empowered by the explosion of a Kree, think Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy device, and is effectively, at least at this point in the comics, a human Kree hybrid. She is a potential link also between the Avengers on Earth and the Guardians of the Galaxy out in space. Moving on November 2nd of 2018, we have Inhumans. Now, the Inhumans are humans prehistoric humans who are initially modified by the Kree and empowered, though not always in entirely positive ways, by what are known as the Terrigen Mists. The Inhumans are also a possibility for explaining how the MCU versions of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver have power. Anyways, some notable Inhuman characters. First off, we have Black Bolt, who is the current king of the Inhumans. He has potentially devastating sonic powers that are tied directly to his voice. In fact, it's to the point where he can only by being silent. The merest whisper can be devastating from him. Um, Next up, we have his queen, Medusa. She has prehensile hair, which is 6 feet in length and capable of lifting up to 1.6 tons. Though she does need to use her hair to brace the item, as it will not be braced by either her neck or scalp or skull. Next up, we have Karnak, who is actually not exposed to the Terrigen Mists, rather is a philosopher and martial artist and planner. He is capable of seeing the weak point of any person and or object. Next, there's Gorgon, who's possessed of super strength, but also the legs of a bull. Triton, who is Karnak's brother, he's capable of surviving underwater at extraordinarily deep depths. The pressure has no effect on him. He can swim excessively quickly, and however, he cannot breathe air. Then next up, we have Crystal, who is Medusa's sister, has the ability to manipulate the 4 classic elements: earth, air, fire, and water. She can also only do so for a specific time limit before it starts to really fatigue her mental faculties. Next up, there's Lockjaw, who is a giant bulldog with teleportation abilities. That's really it for him. Finally, we have Maximus the Mad, who is also most likely the villain of the piece. He is Black Bolt's brother. He has mind control abilities. Wishes to be king of the Inhumans with Medusa as his queen. The possibilities of this would probably be, as it has been stated, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch will be major characters in the MCU after Age of Ultron. If they turn out to be Inhumans, the story of the movie could be basically told through their perspective to kind of introduce us to the oddness of the Inhumans. But that's pure conjecture. After all, Quicksilver Scarlet Witch could simply be the product of genetic engineering. Anywho, that's all we've got for now. We'll be back next Wednesday with the weekly TV roundup. And this time it will be next Wednesday. We will not be doing the bi-weekly thing ever again, because that was just a terrible, terrible idea. And of course, we'll be back as well next Saturday with a video. That's everything for now. That being the case, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Links to both are down below. And as this is the end of the video for the day, all I can really say after that is live long and rock hard.